Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where today we are going to be taking a look at a knife that I firmly believe, at least so far in 2023, is the best knife I've come across in that $150-ish category. And that knife happens to be this guy right here. Take a look at this. Have you seen one of the freshest designs I've seen in quite a while? What we have here is the Kaiser Veritas. Now, before going any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 7.7 inches, a blade length coming in at 3.25 inches, and a blade thickness of a slightly thinner than normal 110 thousandths. Blade material on this guy is S35VN with a very nice thin full flat grind, a handle length coming in at 4.45 inches, a handle thickness at a rather slender 400 thousandths, with a handle material of, as you can see, all titanium with a very nice and unique frame lock locking mechanism. What is unique is not necessarily the frame lock itself, but just how it's milled. I really like that. A user of a right or left hand tip up carry. Yeah, right or left hand. This is cool. We'll talk more about that. We have a weight of a very nice and relatively light for its size, 3 ounces. And this is designed by Jacob Lundquist of Kivist Blade Works, Kivist Knives. I'll have that linked. I can't remember the exact terminology of the Kivist, what comes after the Kivist part. But Jacob's been around for a while. He's designed some really cool knives that are more on the budget side, also has some more premium offerings. We'll take a look at one of them here in just a second. This guy in particular is coming in at $169. So when I say $150-ish, I basically mean give or take 20 bucks. $130 to $170, right in that kind of mid-range. And of course, this is $169 pretty much everywhere. If you find it in stock at White Mountain Knives, you can use my code WSW10, save 10%. That'll take it down a little. I'll have a link below to Blade HQ where you can pick it up for the regular retail price of $169. But let's take a look at some size comparisons here and see what we got. This is a really nice size knife. Let's pull out the Kaiser T1 as well as this guy right here, the CJRB Pyrite. Been seeing a lot of those lately. And as you can see, it really does kind of remind me of a Pyrite. Has a bit more of a thinner handle. The overall handle width is pretty similar. Obviously, you're feeling little things different with the choils and the spot for your index finger. But kind of a nice comparison. Of course, a pretty good comparison with the T1 as well. And let's pull a couple more out here and take a look at those. Let's take a look at this guy right here. This is the Kivist variant PE1. This is the first one that came out, and you can obviously see the similar design language. This is a phenomenal knife. The PE1s I'm pretty sure are well sold out, but there's like PE2s and PE3s. Jacob went on quite a run with this design, and rightfully so, because this was in my Knife of the Year awards the year it came out, which I believe was last year or 2 years ago. But man, I fell in love with this from the moment I got it in hand. It was amazing. And as you can see, that little kind of the rectangular area there, don't let that fool you. The ergos on this guy are pretty darn good. And one last size comparison, only because what you have right here are my 2 favorite all titanium knives to come out this year. I've been on a pretty big titanium kick lately, and this Veritas as well as the Caviso exclusive We Praxis is pretty darn sweet. Obviously, you can see it's bigger than that, but 2 excellent options if you're all about that all tie life. That is fantastic as well. But now let's talk about this guy. Let's talk about this blade. And I tell you what, this blade, at first look, it's nothing crazy different, but what it is just a very nice classic drop point with a touch of kind of like a modern / refined class. I mean, it just looks really, really good. The blade to handle proportion is great. The overall kind of just simple, clean lines in this drop point are so, so nice. Complements the handle, and also fits well within the handle. I mean, when this thing's closed, it's just a very elegant balance of blade and handle, and it just looks amazing. Now, the blade itself, slicey as all get out, a full flat grind with an edge coming down to 17 thousandths, and look at that plunge grind. That is impressive. That is nice. That you really should see stuff like this. I wish we saw plunge grinds like this on every knife. I mean, and you got a nice amount of depth at the sharpening choil up here. So this is just such a well thought out blade design from Jacob. He really knocked this one out of the park. And of course, excellent execution by Kaiser. But man, oh man, I just love seeing that. And I also love the stonewash on this blade. It's a very fine stonewash, and at certain angles, it kind of has a mirror finish to it. Looking directly at it, you get kind of a mirror reflection, and at angles, it looks even more, it has that more of a mirror reflection. It's really, really nice. An excellent finish on this blade, and it really just caps off what I think is a true classic when it comes to a real EDC blade for a lot of people. Now, some people like bigger blades, some like smaller blades, but this is just such a good sweet spot for me and my personal preference. I'm in love with it. The handle feels great. Like I said before, don't let this rectangular portion here fool you, because just as with the Kivist PE1, both of them, they both feel so good. Now, obviously, the Veritas does feel significantly better with that forward finger choil. It really sits the knife in your hand very securely and very, very comfortably. And I really like this square pivot up here. You very, very rarely see a square pivot, and especially for this design, it works with the cutout here. It just works with this knife in general, and it gives it that extra little, that little touch that just makes it different and makes it unique and makes it a true Jacob Lundquist design. Really, really big fan of that. And as I referenced before, the lock bar milling is cool. It follows the design of the knife. It's different, and it just looks good. And it also is thought out really well with the actual clip itself. So there was a lot of thought that went into the details in this knife, and we're just starting to talk about the details because there's a few more we're going to touch on right now. And in just to regards to this entire handle, contoured titanium, and look at this milling. I really like these kind of just like reverse triangles all over the place. It just, again, it feels really good. It's a very, very clean milling pattern with no flaws, no ugliness to it. It just looks so damn good. And then the detail of all details, and rather innovative as well, is this area down here. This is where you put the clip if you want to carry it lefty, because as you can see, this clip is actually seated down in a little bit of a hole here in the handle. And so you can unscrew this, and this is one screw screwing all the way through the handle into the base right here. I don't recall seeing that on any other knife ever. So if you ever want to swap it out, you just simply take this, move it over here, and move the clip over here and screw it in, and it's good to go. And I think that is absolutely awesome. Like, seriously, there's so many lefties that don't get that type of attention paid to them. This makes it really, really cool. And like I said, Kaiser, for something that you don't see a lot, they really knocked that out of the park. Look at how well the milling lines up and how it just, especially from a distance, I mean, from a distance, it looks amazing. And even up close, it still looks really, really good. So that's awesome. And one more little detail to touch on, which is the internal milling in this guy, which is very extensive, very deep, and has a lot to do with why this knife is only 3 ounces. I mean, look at all that internal milling. Excellent, excellent job. All the details with this knife. And for 169 bucks, it's really, I think, an extremely solid value. All the CNC time that went into this, all the milling time, all the extra details really make this quite the treat. and the action is just the cherry on top. Middle finger flick, fantastic. Front flip, no problem whatsoever. And the overall action on this is just stupid smooth. Kind of has that glassy, smooth feel to it. Retron approved, you bet. It's just, man, it's just a joy. It really is. This is, ladies and gentlemen, quite easily a Knife of the Year contender, at least in the world of Wayne. Yeah, it's really good, or at least in Wayne Sharp world. However, I may not have worded that as cleanly as I could have, but I'm just not as clean as this knife. This is one awesome design, and it has me excited to see what Jacob's coming out with next, because he definitely has some other stuff in the works that I saw at Blade Show. He's just as good of a guy as he is designer, so he's always fun to kind of meet up with, say hi. But yeah, this is just awesome. Really, really big fan of this one. I can't believe it's still in stock at Blade HQ, to be honest. I think some of it has to do with just there's so many good knives out there. It's hard to find the one. But if you're looking for a slicey knife at a very reasonable price with all the details, all the action, this is it. If you're okay spending $169 on a knife, this is the one for 2023. At least so far for me, especially right in that $150-ish range. It's just, it's firing on all cylinders, and it has me very, very happy to throw this guy in the pocket. So that is it, guys. That is the Kaiser Veritas. Let me know what you think of this one. Let me know if you've handled one, and if you agree with my overall review of the knife. But man, oh man, I'm in love with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and until the next one, I'm out.